So, welcome back, everybody. And I hope everyone has had the chance to enjoy some coffee, enjoy some food outside. And it's great to have you all back here now for the second sessions of today's conference. And to kick things off for this next session, it's my absolute honor to welcome our next keynote speaker. It's His Excellency Professor Isa Ali Pantami, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy of Nigeria. And the Minister is going to be providing us with a keynote presentation to look at connecting the unconnected and providing a case study of Nigeria's broadband plan. So, Your Excellency, it's great to have you with us. And please, I invite you now to come and take your stage.
My good friend and brother, the CEO of Communications, Space and Technology Commission, His Excellency Tamimi, other speakers here present with us, stakeholders from the digital economy sector, my colleagues from Nigeria, good afternoon to all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May Allah's peace, mercy and blessings be upon you. Firstly, permit me to begin by appreciating the effort of Communication, Space and Technology Commission for inviting us to come from Nigeria and be part and parcel of this very important event. I also want to use the opportunity to commend the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for becoming an active player in the fourth industrial revolution. A lot is being conducted in this country when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution. The effort of the kingdom is highly commendable and it deserves to be emulated. Furthermore, I have been informed that the Communication, Space and Technology Commission organizes this event in partnership with the International Telecommunication Union, ITU. This is another point that is also important, that today, digital economy sector cannot be developed in silos. There is need for more collaboration and partnership. No country or institution has the monopoly of wisdom and knowledge. It is because of this collaboration, partnership, and supporting each other is necessary in order to be successful in having an excellent digital economy, either in our country or globally. In addition, the theme of the discussion is very apt because it deals with connecting the unconnected. Why do we need to discuss about connecting the unconnected? To me, to have a good life today, to be successful economically, socially, educationally, medically, and otherwise, connectivity is no more a luxury, but rather a necessity. We have learned many better and bitter lessons during COVID-19 pandemic. There are some better lessons we have learned, and there are some bitter lessons we have also learned. COVID-19 swallowed the world, particularly in the second quarter of 2020, up to the end of the year. Nobody was anticipating it. There was not any budgetary provision in our countries on how to handle. We were compelled to go into lockdown. almost everything was disrupted. The few countries globally that had an excellent connectivity, their education was functioning, economy was functioning. Why? Because of the connectivity. In the developing countries like in Africa and part of Asia, many institutions were completely locked down. Even communication was difficult. So the lesson we have learned from COVID-19 pandemic has compelled us to know that to have a better life, connectivity is no more a luxury, but rather a necessity. This necessity in security is a necessity today because the technology we deploy in our security, they need connectivity to function. At least the 8 systems being deployed in security, without connectivity, they will not function effectively. Whether the command system, computer system, communication system, control system, information system, intelligence system, reconnaissance systems, and many more. None of them will function without connectivity. It is because of this, connectivity is key to our security. Connectivity is key to our education. Connectivity is key to our economic development. It increases precision and accuracy. It saves time and energy. And it allows us to have wider coverage in whatever we do. Furthermore, if you look at the global statistics, according to the United Nations Department of Economy and Social Affairs, by the 15th of November 2022, what is today's date? 9th of November. So in the next 6 days only, by the 15th of November 2022, the world population could reach 8 billion people. So we are only 8 days away from hitting 8 billion people. And if you look at the statistics of available, the people that are connected today are about or even less than 5.3 billion people globally, within that range. And people that are unconnected are within the range of 2.7 billion people. So if you look at percentage-wise, you will discover that we have around 64% connected and approximately around 36% unconnected. So by implication, we have a little higher than 1/3 of the global population unconnected. So we have a lot to do. Only around 2/3 of the world population connected today. So if you look at it, to say at least 1/3 of the whole world population unconnected, they have no privilege to access to education as we have, access to economic activities as we have. They have no access to the facilities and resources available online with regards to health, medicals, and many more. And sometimes one may not be able to appreciate the value of the connectivity until he experiences it. Without experiencing it, one may not be able to know. So the need for redoubling our effort to ensure that this percentage is connected lies on our shoulder, those of us who have been benefiting from the connectivity and also know the value of that connectivity in whatever we do. A report by the World Bank shows that if we can increase connectivity from around that 64% up to a minimum of 75%, there is a high probability that this will increase the global gross domestic product by a minimum of $2 trillion USD. This is one of the benefits of the connectivity. Look at it. That increase in percentage with around 10% will provide additional 2 trillion USD to the global GDP. If you take a simple example, Massachusetts Institute of Technology advocated for what they call IDE, Innovation-Driven Enterprises, meaning we should try to accommodate our small and medium enterprises globally to be online and give them wider coverage, global visibility. At the time, the world was agitating and advocating for small and medium enterprises. MIT was more proactive, advocating for IDE, Innovation-Driven Enterprises. That concept, along with other initiatives, catapulted the serial entrepreneurs of MIT as a university. Their collective GDP since around 2016, the serial entrepreneurs, was approximately 2 trillion USD. By implication, if MIT were to be a country, it could be the 10th largest economy globally. Why? Because of the value of connectivity they deployed when it comes to small, medium, and medium enterprises, and also that visibility given by MIT to their entrepreneurs. And this is indeed very important. This is to show to us the benefit of our connectivity is not only restricted to socialization. There are so many benefits in security, so many benefits in economic development. According to our research conducted by Information Technology and Innovation Foundation, that in developing countries, 80% of economic benefits are attained through the deployment of ICT facilities. While in the developed countries, around 90% of their economic development, their success, discover that is attached to the deployment of ICT. And connectivity is part and parcel of that. Furthermore, if I can take Nigeria as a case study, it is indeed a success story. For example, I took over as a minister on the 21st August 2019. If you look at some of the initiatives we came up with, and the success story we have been recording is really mind-boggling. First thing we did was to transform the ministry and the whole sector from just ICT sector to a digital economy sector. And secondly, we developed the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy for a Digital Nigeria with 8 pillars. Pillar number 1, developmental regulation. Pillar number 2, digital skills. Pillar number 3, solid infrastructure, which broadband connectivity is part of it. Pillar number 4 is a service infrastructure. Pillar number 5, digital services development and promotion. Pillar number 6, soft infrastructure. Pillar number 7, digital society and emerging technologies. Pillar number 8, indigenous content development and promotion. These are the 8 pillars in our national digital economy policy and strategy. In order to simplify the implementation of the policy, we came up with so many policies. So far, we have around 19 national policies, and 17 of them are being implemented, including our Nigerian National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025, which we have achieved a lot when it comes to its implementation. With that effort, in the digital economy sector, in the last 3 years, when it comes to contribution to GDP, we have set up 3 unprecedented records, year in, year out. For example, in the first quarter of 2020, the ICT sector alone, without the digital services. So ICT sector is only a subset of the digital economy sector, only a subset. So we are talking about that subset. Only the ICT sector contributed around 14.72% to our GDP. Secondly, in the second quarter of 2021, we set a new record of contributing more than 17% to the GDP. Look at the increase within 1 year. In the second quarter of 2022, this year, the ICT sector contributed 18.44% to our GDP. It is indeed the fastest growing sector of our economy in Nigeria. For example, in 2020, it was the only sector that grew by double digits. It grew by 14.70%. And not only that one, it is the only sector in the whole year that grew by double digit in the country. And if you look at the second fastest growing sector of our economy to the 7th fastest growing sector, 6 of them combined together, their growth rate was not up to that of ICT sector alone. And this has been supporting our economic activities in the country. And it is the sector that played the principal role of lifting out our country out of recession that was triggered by COVID-19 pandemic. We went into recession because pandemic swallowed the whole world, including our country. We were not anticipating that. So what happened? Immediately, we set up some initiatives at the federal level of government. The developed countries predicted that Nigeria could exit recession by the end of 2021. We exited that recession a year before the time predicted by the developed world. This is to show to us that connecting the unconnected is no more a luxury, but rather a necessity. And this is not only restricted to one sector. If you look at the entire sectors, this connectivity is no more a luxury. In health, it's no more a luxury. In our education, it's no more a luxury. The same with our security. The same with our economic development. Whatever we do, we will discover that this connectivity is becoming a necessity by the day. It is because of this I want to use the opportunity and this very important event that those of us that are connected, it is our responsibility to ensure that those that are unconnected get connected. This is indeed very important because we know the benefits of our connectivity. Stakeholders at each level have a role to play. At government level is to provide the enabling environment for the connectivity, for the private sector to be successful. Let us make our regulatory instruments to be very friendly so that we will be able to attract more investment. Secondly, also government needs to provide intervention and subsidy as the need arises. For example, in Nigeria, we have what we call Universal Service Provision Fund. This is a fund that is being provided by government year in, year out in order to provide connectivity to unserved and underserved areas. We have areas that are not profitable, mostly because of a lack of population. It's a huge landmass in our country, even though we are not up to Saudi. Saudi is around 2.1 million square kilometers. I know we are not up to that in size, but it's a huge landmass. So you'll discover that there are some communities of not more than maybe 1,000 people, some 2,000 people, and there are no strong economic activities that they will be able to utilize. So private sector, usually their investment focuses more where they will be able to get more profit. So government should always try to provide intervention or subsidy so that underserved and unserved communities will be able to get connected and get more benefits from that. And thirdly, as well, introducing certain incentives like tax holiday, pioneer status, among many others. These are some of the initiatives that will attract more foreign direct investment. And at the same time, roll out obligation. For example, we have a law that allows regulatory institutions and regulatory bodies of government to give targets even to private sector. This is part of roll-out obligation because of national interest. And furthermore, we need to create more awareness. There are many people into business, investing, but many of them do not know the benefits of investing in the digital economy sector. By creating more awareness, we will attract many more investors globally to come into the digital economy sector and invest. The more they invest, the more we create many more jobs globally, the more we support economic development, because today, if you look at the ICT sector or digital economy sector or connectivity, each and every one of them is no more a standalone sector, but rather it is the key enabler of other sectors. It is the sector that is unlocking the opportunities, the potential opportunities we have in other sectors. It is because of this we need to ensure that we attract many more investors into the sector, because we need to implement an approach where each and every stakeholder has a role to play. And the more we create more awareness, the more we partner together, the more we achieve it. We must try to be very ambitious when it comes to setting our target to get the whole world connected. This is indeed very important. We need to be very proactive, be too ambitious, so that the remaining percentage that is not connected will get connected. And finally, connectivity cannot be attained without addressing two major issues. Number one, affordability, which is very important. The more we reduce the cost, the easier for global citizens to patronize. For example, in Nigeria, as at 2019, when I took over, the average price of 1 gigabyte was 1,200 naira in our local currency. But today, the average price is within the range of 350 naira. From 1,200 naira in 2019 to 350 naira. If you look at it, the reduction is almost what? The reduction is more than 2/3 of the total cost. So the more we promote that, the more it becomes more affordable, the more our citizens patronize it. Secondly, the accessibility through digital skills. We need to ensure that we provide digital training to global citizens. If without training, they will not be able to utilize the connectivity. If they are trained, at least the basic training, it will facilitate that. Only last month in Nigeria, we signed an MOU with one of the tech giants with the plan of training 5 million citizens in Nigeria. Not only general training, but actually high demand digital skills, cutting edge digital skills. So we should try to be more ambitious in making sure that our citizens are digital literate. And we must introduce many programs that will ensure that no one is left behind. For example, training for people in rural areas, training for people with disabilities, ICT for women. We should try to identify the categories that are left behind. We prioritize them, and we also ensure they understand the benefit and they join the trend in order to be successful. And finally, I want to once again use the opportunity to thank the participants, particularly those who have joined us online. I have heard that we have thousands of people joining us online, and I do hope that as stakeholders, we will continue to work together to create awareness and also to be too ambitious so that the remaining percentage of the world, which is around 1/3 of our global population, get connected. And I can see my friend from ITU, Director Wario, is here with us. I'm glad to see you in Saudi Arabia, not in Bucharest or Geneva. My friend at Tamimi, thank you very much for the invitation, and I do hope that as stakeholders, we will continue to work together. The effort of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is highly commendable. The initiatives in the digital economy is worth emulation. There is no doubt about this. We are very proud of what this country has been doing in the last few years. Saudi Arabia is no more a follower in the fourth industrial revolution, definitely is one of the leading countries globally. And I do hope you will try to maintain that tempo. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much to His Excellency for those truly inspirational words, and I think you'll all agree it's fantastic to hear about the journey that Nigeria has been on, and we offer them all huge congratulations for the progress that they have made in connecting the unconnected, and of course for the journey ahead.